is Jenna and today I'm here doing my February wrap up and my March TBR. February is over, although it is a leap year this year, so I am actually filming today on the 29th of February, which is, you know, leap day, which is very exciting. It's nice to have an extra day to get things done. I, in February, managed to read 4 books and I'm pretty happy with that. The quality of books that I read, however, was to be questioned. There was 1 5-star, 2 3-stars and a 2-star read, so you know, I'm doing really well. I did manage to complete my TBR jar challenge for the month, which was to read a science fiction novel, and I also managed to read the YA Circles Book Club Book of the Month. So far, I'm 2 for 2. Pretty happy, very excited, and I'm just going to get straight in and tell you the books that I read in February. So the first book that I read in February was A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Camara. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. This book is incredible and amazing and a perfect sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I loved it so much. This one follows Grey and new character Liamara as they are sort of fleeing from Emberfall, and I love absolutely everything about it. I loved the new characters. I loved delving really deep into Grey's psyche, and I'm really excited to see what happens next. I have done a full book review of this one. I don't believe that video is out yet, but definitely have a look for that one coming very soon. I'm really excited to get to talk all things A Heart So Fierce and Broken because this book was just so good. The second book I read this month was an audiobook, and that was This Shattered World by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. This is the sequel to These Broken Stars, and I have to admit I didn't love this one as much as the first book. This one, we were set on Avon and we followed Jubilee Chase and Flynn Cormack. I still liked it, and I liked what it meant for the overall story, the overall arcing plotline that we were introduced to in These Broken Stars. However, I didn't like the characters as much. I didn't like Lee and Flynn anywhere near as much as I liked Tala and Lilac. I didn't like their romance as much, and I couldn't help but keep comparing it back to the first book with sort of everything that was happening. But I did like that we got to see a little more of the world, more than just the one planet that Tava and Lilac were on, and I did like getting to see more characters and how they interacted with everybody, but I didn't like it as much as the first one. I thought this one just lacked something. I just thought it lacked that little extra oomph that the first one had, that little extra magic, but I am real keen to see what happens in the third book because this one, definitely the ending made me go, I need to know what's going to happen next. The third book that I read this month was Supernova by Cass Morgan. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. This was the sequel to Light Years. I did enjoy this book, but I felt like it just was missing something. Cass Morgan tends to write really romance heavy science fiction novels, and that is exactly what this one was. This one was really romance heavy, but apart from that there wasn't really a lot going on. I didn't feel like we got a lot of character development in this book. I didn't feel like we got a really satisfying conclusion to the plot that was happening, especially when you look at Light Years and how that one ended and then sort of what has gone forward into this one. I sort of felt like everything wrapped up really quickly. The pacing was a little off for me, but the romances were so adorable that I just couldn't help but really enjoy reading those parts. It was just everything else that fell a little bit flat for me. And then the final book that I read in February was Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. This was the YA Circles Book Club book pick of the month. I gave this one a 2 out of 5 stars. I did not like this book. I found the characters to be boring, stereotypical, and just plain annoying. The fantasy was completely just disconnected and very confusing. I didn't quite know where or when we were. One of the main characters, Brighton, he had an obsession with his YouTube channel, and as a YouTuber myself, I just couldn't get past it. There were a lot of things that just weren't explained well. There were a lot of things that were just kind of thrown in there as I'm writing a fantasy novel, clearly this needs to be there, and I just had a lot of issues with this one, and I wasn't the only one. A big portion of my book club didn't like it either. The book was also wildly predictable, and what happened at the end of the book I thought was going to happen at the beginning, and that was where the story was going to go. So when we had to wait until the very end to see something happen that we picked up on from, you know, the first chapter, it was very frustrating. So those were the 4 books that I read in February, and now we will move on to the books that I am planning on reading in March. First and foremost, the TBR jar. I've done pretty well so far, so like I'm pretty confident, I guess, that I can keep going. You know, I'm on a bit of a streak right now. 2-month streak because we're 2 months in. A signed book. Funnily enough, there is actually a signed book on my TBR this month. Yay! Yay! See, I'm on a roll. All I have to do is make sure I, actually read the book. So the first book that is on my TBR for this month is the YA Circle's Book Club Book of the Month, and that is Havenfall by Sarah Holland. I know literally nothing about this one apart from it's a fantasy and it sounds kind of cool, I guess. I don't know much about it. I just know that it's the YA Circle book, so I'm going to read it. And I know that the cover has a face on it. That's pretty much it. I am excited to read this one though. I have had some people who have read it and have said it's really good, so hopefully I really enjoy it. The second book on my TBR is Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is the third and final book in the These Broken Stars trilogy. I had kind of planned to take a break with this one. I've been listening to them on audiobook, but honestly after the ending of the second book I just went, you know what, let's just finish it. Let's just finish the series, go out on a high note and see how we feel. I know that this one follows a new set of characters, but I do know that everyone kind of is going to come together in this book, which I'm really excited about. I did actually start this one. I don't even know how far through it I am now, but I am really enjoying this one so far, more than the second one, and I cannot wait to see how it ends. The third book that I'm reading this month is a reread, and that is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. This is actually the book that is signed, I think. Yes, this is the book that is signed. This is, as I said, a reread. Obviously the film just came out on Netflix yesterday, so I am planning on rereading this one and then watching the film. I didn't love this book when I first read it. I actually think I gave it 2 stars. I found it really problematic in the way that it handled some of its content, so I'm curious to reread it, see if I still have the same feelings, and then to watch the film and see if I believe they have done it better, worse, or just kind of like an sort of moment, because obviously Netflix really needs to be careful with problematic content considering they have a whole show which is nothing but problematic, so I would hate for them to have a problematic film that they kind of mess up. And then the fourth and fifth books that I'm planning on reading this month are part of a series, and that is Percy Jackson and the Battle at the Labyrinth and Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian, both by Rick Riordan. These are books 4 and 5 in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I read the first 3 books. It might have even been 3 years ago now. It was in September 2017, I think, that I read the first 3, and I sort of enjoyed them, but I found them really formulaic and like I was reading the same book every time. So I took a break from them, which could turn out to be a dilemma because I'm not sure I remember what happened in the first 3 books, but I refused to reread them. So going into the Battle of the Labyrinth might be interesting. It might take me a minute to sort of get reacquainted with everybody, reacquainted with what's going on, but I am excited to finally finish this series because then that's another series that I can get off my shelf as I have read it kind of thing. And I mean, everyone raves about the Percy Jackson series, so clearly it gets good at some point. I don't know when that point is going to be because so far I didn't think it was that good at all, but you know, I trust the masses. They know what they're talking about. And there we go. Those are all of the books that I read in February, all of the books that I'm planning on reading in March. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what you read this month and what you were planning on reading in March because I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.